With Youth Day coming up, we're reminded of the importance of planning for our children's future. Discover how ABSA Private Wealth Banking can help you create and preserve your wealth with bespoke solutions and expert advice. Join us this afternoon as we explore the exclusive benefits and superior service that make ABSA Private Wealth Banking the cornerstone of personalized financial success. With us is the Head of Financial Planning, Advice and Product Development at ABSA Wealth Private Banking, Naveen Brahmasad. Naveen, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Palesa. Good to be here.
Now, Naveen, how does ABSA assist parents to invest in their children's education?
Palesa, creating a financial plan for your child's education is important. And as ABSA, we believe in the importance of financial planning and advice. As each family's needs and circumstances are different, by engaging with a financial advisor, the advisor can create tailored solutions and advice to your circumstances to inform how you save for the education of your child, taking into account your current and projected financial situation.
Now, with that in mind, a lot of people might ask, when is the right time to start saving for our children's educational success?
The right time to start saving for your children's education is when your child is born. However, the reality of it is, with day-to-day obligations and all that goes with it, we often defer financial planning decisions to a later date. And if you find yourself in those circumstances, don't despair. You can start now.
And the big question on everyone's lips must be, how much is enough?
In determining that, you have to consider the educational options available. So questions like, which school would you like your child to attend? When would they start attending school? And what are the current costs involved? Important to remember is that educational inflation is somewhat higher than normal inflation. So you've got to take that into account in order to determine what the cost of education would be in a few years' time. On the back of that, it's important then to create a budget which will help you to determine how much to save, as well as inform you how much of your income has to be dedicated to education.
And then now when we look at ABSA and what ABSA is bringing to the table, what kind of investment vehicles do they have on offer?
So in determining the investment vehicle, this will be largely informed by the time you have available to save for your children's education. So if we use an example, if your bundle of joy were born this year, and you were wanting to save for tertiary education, you would have more or less 2 decades to save. This means that you may be able to assume a bit more risk. So you could invest potentially in unit trust that is exposed to the stock market. There are exchange-traded funds exposed to the stock market or the stock market itself. In certain circumstances, a tax-free savings account may be appropriate for educational expenses in the long run. If, however, you have a shorter term to save for, let's say a year or two, then you possibly want to consider a little more conservative investment options. But once again here, Palesa, the importance of advice and a financial advisor becomes critical.
And Naveen, right now we are specifically speaking in a South African context. So does this change if your child wants to study overseas?
Absolutely, Palesa. So education, and typically tertiary education overseas, is a lot more expensive. So this means that parents have to save a lot more. It means you have to start a lot earlier. But there are some alternatives. Lots of international universities and colleges offer bursaries and scholarships that could contribute either fully or in part to your child's educational expenses. If, however, you've decided that you want your child to study overseas, let's just say in Europe, for example, it may be best to start saving in foreign currency. In that way, you ensure that your investment is protected against potential rand weakness in the event that you have to pay for expenses in foreign currency. The other important thing is you have to look at additional expenses, just not tuition. The cost of flights, the cost of accommodation, and just the cost of being in a different country. It's also something that adds up and has to be taken into consideration.
Thank you so much, Naveen. What an important conversation to have.
Thank you, Palesa.
Now, the best way we can support our youth is to support and plan for their futures. With ABSA Private Wealth Banking, you can secure not just your future, but your children's future too. Their holistic investment solutions and expert advice are designed to help you as parents create lasting wealth and preserve it for generations to come. Invest in your family's future with confidence with ABSA Private Wealth Banking.
There are stories of creators, and we're inspired by them all. We invite you to write your story with us. Your story matters. ABSA.